Okay, I swear it's a coincidence that I've done 3 holiday media videos in a row. I wasn't planning for this to exist, but the idea sparked when my family decided to put it on a few days ago, so here we are. Welcome to ALBO, also known as a look back on, where I rewatch media and see how they hold up, for better or worse. And I'm certainly glad to say that after 2 duds being my previous reviews, we'll finally get a great one with the all-time classic, the 1966 TV special of Dr. Seuss's book, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But I will also talk about how it's the only good adaptation of The Grinch. Sorry, I didn't like the 2000 movie. Despite the ambition with the set design, the makeup, and of course Jim Carrey, who not only did a damn good job, but also has the weird distinction of playing 2 leads in Dr. Seuss adaptations, playing the Grinch and Horton. I was gonna joke about him possibly playing the Cat in the Hat sometime soon, but Bill Hader seems to be taking that mantle already. The other adaptation that was not good was the Illumination movie from 2018. Despite being better looking out of the 2 of them with great animation, it also suffers from having huge filler problems, and as much as it was a fantastic idea casting Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch, he does not sound like he wanted to be there, and it leaves his performance feeling empty, leaving it also to be a huge missed opportunity. Anyway, even though many have seen this classic before, it's good to look over this special and why the Grinch TV special is the classic that it is. And we pan down to the Who singing their own song, and off the bat, we immediately get both great visuals in a literal sense, and also comedically. Seriously, I got a good chuckle just seeing the tiny Who's in the middle of the group holding the tree. Also, the thing I noticed on my most recent rewatch, thanks to my cousin, was this child during the roast beef scene standing completely still with a face that got me laughing too. Oh, I love it. On a visual perspective, it's both unbelievably creative with the various items the Who's have at their disposal to celebrate the holiday, and the character designs, which are very expressive and able to translate the Dr. Seuss style unbelievably well with a unique twist that gives this special so much personality. And who is responsible for making this film as good as it is? Of course, it's the legendary animator Chuck Jones, who brought his absolute A-game with each ounce he can muster. And for a television budget, especially from the 1960s, it's surprising that it came out as well as it did, too. Of course, the animation team did have to cut corners aplenty in order to get the film done while keeping within the budget, like having some movements very limited with only a limb or 2 moving, and reusing a ton of animation. Usually this would be a massive detriment to an animation project's visuals, but the execution makes those moments seem both seamless and not a huge distraction. My only actual critique is the animation errors that can be spotted. But that's nothing major, and the most common one being near the end, where the animation team couldn't decide whether the Grinch should keep his yellow and red eyes, or have them be white and blue after his heart was changed. Once we pan back up, we get to one of the best introductions to any villain, as we meet the Grinch.
Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch did not.
The narration explains exactly why he's the way he is, and why he despises Christmas. There's no needlessly complex origin that bloats the story like the other 2 Grinches. Just a guy who's furious at all the noise, and his heart being 2 sizes too small, and that's all we need. Of course, we know the Grinch's idea to ruin the Who's Christmas is to, well, steal Christmas, and there's no way I can talk about the classic Grinch without mentioning the wonderful song that Dr. Seuss wrote himself for the project, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel.
This song is obviously iconic, and you know Seuss had a blast writing why the Grinch is vile and evil with the unmatched creativity that he's well known for. And of course, this couldn't be done without the vocals. I'll state now that it's not Boris Karloff who does the singing. The singing instead is provided by legendary actor and singer Thurl Ravenscroft, who some could recognize from his multiple minor appearances, and especially singing roles for Disney in their movies and theme parks, and also providing the voice of Kirby in The Brave Little Toaster, and most famously being the original voice of Tony the Tiger for over 50 years until his death in 2005. Back to the scene. While doing all this, his poor dog Max is unfortunately a target for his abuse. So I wonder why the Grinch wasn't mentioned in the worst treater of dogs post I used for my YouTube short. For example, throwing heavy bags on top of him during the stealing Christmas scenes, and most famously, Max getting used as the Grinch's reindeer for his giant sled, where in the end, poor Max is pulling all of this, all while strapping a giant antler onto his head. Also, the special specifically explains,
Since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found.
hence him using mechs, so it's pretty odd Illumination forgot all of that, spending way too much time on a reindeer that contributed literally nothing. Also, Mom, I'm sorry, I know you think the Illumination Max is cute or whatever, but oh my god, that is not something you'd find in a Seuss book by a long shot. Looking more like Illumination used one of their scrapped dog designs from Secret Life of Pets. Actually, the character designs at all don't feel like Seuss characters in the 2018 movie, with only the early promotional material having a semblance of that. Even though I hate their adaptation of the Lorax so much more, you could tell they used the Seuss kind of designs way better. Not to mention Blue Sky even did a better job at implementing their style with the movie. And even the 2000 movie, even if the end result looks creepy and unsettling, they still pulled all their punches to make sure everything was Seuss-like. I mean, there's a reason why they won an Oscar for it.
And the Oscar goes to Rick Baker and Gil Ryan for Dr. Seuss' How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Back to the song, yeah, it's no surprise both films could not live up to the original. Whether it's Carey going way over the top singing it himself, or Tyler the Creator rapping it, they don't even come close. I'm gonna shout out the stealing Christmas scenes again for 3 reasons. One is how creative it is. Everything from his methods to steal Christmas to every individual things he steals. Even small random things like individual petals off of flowers or frickin' ice cubes. Second, of course, is his encounter with Cindy Lou who again, doesn't need a complex origin. Simply him making a white lie about why Santa Grinch is taking her family's Christmas tree. Both films try to flesh her out more to have her be more ham-fisted into the plot in ways that don't feel needed, adding to the major filler issues, with her meeting the Grinch early and here and there interacting with him in the 2000 movie to add more connection with her and the Grinch, or in the 2018 movie where she makes an entire plan to meet and capture Santa that turns into a whole side plot that it contributes nothing, considering she meets him in her house regardless. At the same time, both have a connection of having at least one parent involved in the plot as well, whether it's her dad in the 2000 movie or her mother in the 2018 movie. Speaking of, I'll give Illumination this small thing. They actually gave him a Santa beard. I always questioned as a kid why she didn't see the Grinch wasn't Santa without that integral piece. While this shot is the iconic face of the Grinch, I can't deny that right before he meets Cindy Lou Who and comes to steal candy canes from her room, he makes the best expression in the special. That's so good. From the mouth shape to the very messed up teeth. And it also makes me hate the 2018 one for making him have such perfect teeth, ruining a key element of his design. Hell, the 2000 movie understood that assignment perfectly. But yeah, my aunt loves this particular face so much that she has a pillow with this face on it, and it makes me have a good chuckle every single time I see it. We, of course, after the stealing Christmas portion, we get to see how Max is pulling all of this. I can't say for certain how much weight that is, or even the narrator, meant by the sleigh being 12 times what the Grinch would usually lift. And no, it's not hundreds of thousands of pounds, as some sources say. For crying out loud, they're not lifting the equivalent of 20 pickup trucks. I'm leaning more towards the sources that use more math and accounting for every Who that lives in Whoville, where he's estimated to lift roughly at most 1,000 or so pounds, so about a fifth of a pickup truck. Even then, poor Max! The Grinch was driven by Christmas spirit, but Max was fueled by pure primal fear! Now we get to the pivotal scene, where the Grinch goes from a sour, petty hermit willing to steal an entire town's Christmas to arguably the most famous villain turned good, second only to Darth Vader. A key thing that makes this shift so impactful is that he was exiling himself away from the Who's and their constant cheering noise from the many items they have during the holidays. And it was their reaction to their houses being barren and simply enjoying the moment that they can have with each other without the need of any of those things that finally gives him the definition of the season, and thus he finally warms up to it. Now certainly this exile from anyone for decades can translate well into the films, and nope! In both films, especially the 2018 one, he's casually just interacting with these people in Whoville as if it's a regular day for him, and the whole point of the plot gets lost from beginning to end. This is the main reason I don't like the other Grinches. The emotional impacts don't feel as strong because, as a means to extend the running time, the big crux of the story structure is tarnished by forgetting that he's entirely exiled from everybody. He's supposed to see the error of his ways and finally interact with the people of Whoville, but no. Studios thought it wouldn't make him or Whoville anything interesting, so now we're left with subpar versions of something we actually have that's worthwhile. Okay, my last rant, I swear. As we finally see the Grinch develop, lifting that giant sleigh through the power of his heart growing 3 sizes, and sledding down to Whoville to give everything he stole from them back. In the final shot, he's the one who gets to carve the roast beefs as the credits roll. I'm keeping this outro quick as I thoroughly explained why I love this special and why the other adaptations don't work. The story is simple, but well done. The animation is great, especially for a TV special, even compared to others that came before and after. And the handling of the Grinch's development was perfect. And let me just say, this is an easy 9 for me. As for the other Grinches, I will give them both 4s, and I'll leave to go to my next video. Happy holidays, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, bye. I'm keeping this outro quick as I thoroughly